What is up, Florida Outdoors people? Welcome back to the Florida Outdoorsman channel. Who is excited for another video? It is your boy, Adam, aka Florida Outdoorsman. Boy, do I have something special for you guys today. We're in the truck. We're gonna go to Walmart. We're gonna go to Walmart real quick. We're gonna pick up some crab bait. We're gonna grab the truck. We're gonna grab all the crab traps. And this is going to be the ultimate guide for crabbing. Alright? Everything you're gonna need. I'm gonna show you how I crab, what I use, the bait I use, and the areas that I look for. Not saying that I'm the greatest at this, but I am saying this is how I have been catching crabs in the past. Alright? I'm done talking. Let's go to Walmart. Yeah. Oh, and if you enjoy the video, please subscribe, share, like, I don't know. It's up to you. Whatever you want to do. I'm not your dad, not your mom, but I would appreciate it. Alright, y'all. So, one of the first things you have to do is you have to pick out the best bait. Alright? Now, you can go through the arduous journey of trying to figure out what that bait is, trial and error, all that fun stuff. And by all means, definitely do that. Definitely experiment and figure out what the best bait that you can find. If you watched the previous video, you would know that with the best bait that I found so far. If not, go watch that video after you watch this one. Watch it all the way through. Please. Watch the video all the way through. Alright? Best bait that I found is crab bait. Just straight up crab bait. Alright? So, we have 3 traps. We'll do three things of crab bait. Alright, I'll see you at the boat. Alright guys, so this part really isn't that essential, but I enjoy this optional option when it comes to crabbing. Gotta have a monster. Oh, that's good. Yeah, gotta go with the white ones. Oh, alright guys, so let's go grab the boat. And I'll kind of talk about what you do when it comes to the boat. All right. All right, y'all. So you've seen me throwing these traps out in the past couple of videos, so I won't go too in depth on the traps. I'm gonna do that more in a later section of the video, kind of telling you all the regulations FWC has when it comes to that. But basically, you don't even need a boat to do this. All right, boat is not essential, but it does help. All right, it does make it easier for me personally to get to the places where I want to crab, because the places I want to crab aren't within walking distance. So it's just the Jenny Lynn. You guys have seen this boat for 2 years now, so you know this boat. You love this boat. I love this boat. All right, so just the basics. All right, crab trap, bait, bin, and buoy, and then the information that I will talk about in a later section. Like I said, I'm gonna go through all the regulations. So just 3 traps, toss them out. All right. With that being said, let's get these traps in the water. Let's get on the boat. Let's head out. All right. All right. So you guys have seen me hit up the same spot the past couple of times, which, hey, it's producing crabs, so that's fair. But I want to show you guys what I look for when it comes to crabbing. All right. So it worked in Brevard, it works here in St. Lucie County. So what I'm looking for is kind of like down trees like that, this kind of pocket right here. I'm going to throw the crab trap into. All right, as you saw in the other videos, what I also like to do is I like to put the traps in next to fallen trees. All right, so let's get these crab traps set up, and then we will I'll kind of talk more about what I'm looking for the other two traps. All right guys, so this is going to be the same as every other time that I have baited up one of these traps. All right, you're going to open your bait bag. You're going to open up the top of the trap. And you're going to stuff the bait into this top bin. Just like so. Now, probably not going to show every trap that we bait up, because you guys are probably sick and tired of seeing me bait every single one of these traps. Alright, so this bait's frozen like you wouldn't believe. Jeez, it does not want to go in today. Alright, so because the current's pushing us backwards, actually I kind of like this spot right here a little bit better, kind of tucked behind everything. So I'm actually gonna throw the trap back in here. All right, so same as always, yeah, make sure you got the buoy, make sure it's right side up, and toss. Alright, everything is good. It is deep here too, which I like. So let's get these other traps baited up, and we will we'll get them tossed in. Alright, I'll show you guys that here in a minute. Like I said, probably not going to show you every time we're baiting up. I'm just going to show you me tossing them in. Alright, got some whistlers. That's kind of cool. See a lot of whistlers down here. Problem is they're so hard to hunt because they only show up right before shooting light, and then right at the end, right before shooting light ends. So they're kind of hard to actually hunt, for me at least. That's what I found. So, all right, so we got old rusty trusty. I know I said I wouldn't show you me baiting up all of these traps, but hey, I saw some whistlers fly by, so I figured might as well talk about them. All right. Kind of similar to the last spot, and a combination of where we've been going. Fallen tree, tucked away pocket, a lot of overhanging vegetation. So let's get this one tossed in, and then we'll do the last one. I see another perfect spot right up the way. So let's toss this one in, old rusty trusty. All right, falling correctly. Looks good. All right, last trap. So unfortunately, spot that I looked at didn't look as good as I thought it would as soon as I got up to it, so kind of moved a little bit closer to the boat ramp. Not in the same spot where we have been catching crabs, but similar enough to where we want to be. So I see a little pocket right here off to my right that I'm going to try and throw the trap into. All right. Last trap. Wish it luck. Sinking good. All right. And we are off, guys. Back to the boat ramp. I'll hit you with the next section, which is going to be kind of talking about the regulations that you have to have in the state of Florida when it comes to crabbing. All right, let's get into it, guys. Alright, y'all, so as you can see, we're at the house. Just kind of wanted to run you through some of the regulations of what you have to do when you're crabbing in the state of Florida. So, right here, I will throw a picture of what the crab trap is essentially going to look like, what legally it has to have on it. Alright, the next thing, specifically on that picture I just showed you, is you need to have a card that has all of the information. So it needs to have your name, it needs to have your address, it needs to have your unique trap number, and then 1 through 5 traps recreational. You get the unique trap number when you purchase the blue crab trap registration. So what I like to do is, after I fill this out, obviously, Florida Outdoorsman, you guys know that. It's not my address. Please do not go to this address. I don't even know if it is an actual address in Melbourne. And then, by all means, use that unique trap number. So what I like to do is I like to take my card, get some of this self-laminating pouch, self-laminating pouches. I think it's like $10 for one of them, like 1 pack of them. It might not even be that much, but it gives you all the instructions on here, and basically it has everything that you need to do. But basically, you're going to take your card, you're going to put it inside the laminate. You can usually get about 2 of these papers out of this laminate. If you're smart about it, follow the instructions. And then what I like to do next, take a hole puncher, punch a hole through here, and then when you have your crab trap, you're going to take a zip tie, and you're going to zip tie it to the crab trap. All the crab traps is the most expensive thing, but between the crab traps and all this equipment, I'd say probably $60, $70 for one crab trap. So that's not including bait, which can range anywhere from, well, if you watched the last video, it can range anywhere from cheap, which is the crab bait, to expensive, which was the shrimp. So that's it for the regulations. Like I said, if you want to go back and pause the video so that you can actually look at the crab regulations, do that. But yeah, next section is going to be tomorrow when we pull that crab trap, and I'll probably cook up the crabs to show you guys, just so that you know what it looks like, or how I typically cook them up. So hope you've enjoyed the video so far. I'll see you tomorrow, guys. All right, y'all, welcome to day 2. Let's go pull out some traps. All right, y'all, we're coming up on the first trap. Let's see how we did. Oh, yeah, that is straight up and down with the line. First trap. One lone crab. All right. Crab trap number 2. It's gonna put me right into the bushes. Right, you guys right into the bushes as well. All right. And what do we have in crap number 2? Big fat goose egg. No bait, nothing. All right. Onward to trap number 3. I've kind of noticed something with these crab traps. I'm sorry, with this spot when it comes to crabbing. You kind of don't want it to soak overnight. It seems like you do a lot better if you let it just soak for a few hours. So like if this is gonna sound like I'm walking back, but hear me out on this. If you set it in the morning, you got to pick it up before dark. If you set it right like in the afternoon, then you can pick it up in the early morning. Like, I know it sounds weird, but if you don't let it sit for like a full 24 hours, then I seem to do better with catching these crabs. That's not the case when I was up in Brevard. It's just for some reason it's the case here in Port St. Lucie, or I'm sorry, in St. Lucie County. So yeah, it's when it comes to crabbing, keep that in mind. You know, it may not be that it needs to sit for a full 24 hours. Because if it sits for a full 24 hours, you may end up with one crab and nothing in the other trap. Now here's old Rusty Trusty. I see 3 crabs. All right, so 4 crabs for the trip. That's not too bad. Male, you guys have a better view on that. Male and male. Again, all male. All right, let's get back to the boat ramp, and we will cook these guys up for you guys so you can see what you're supposed to do when it comes to cooking crabs. Like I said, this is a full kind of breakdown, regulations, and where you need to go when it comes to crabbing in the state of Florida. Other states, I don't know. I don't live in other states. So let's get back to the boat ramp real quick. All right, guys. 4 crabs, all males again. You know what? To quote a very smart person, all my milkshakes brings all the boys to the yard. Dang right, it's better than yours. All right, I'm out of breath. It's hot. Let's get on home. All right, y'all. So as you can see, we're at the house. We've got our pot full of crabs. They do not look happy. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna come over to your kitchen. You're gonna get a nice pot of water. You're gonna boil it. And then what I like to do, and it's just personally me, some Everglades. Not sponsored by them. Please, Everglades, if you are listening, please sponsor me. I would love to promote your stuff because I love your stuff. But Everglades of fish and chicken, you dump some in like you would Old Bay, and you just boil them, and then I'll show you cracking them open and what you need to do from there. All right, But let's get this stuff boiling. I'm not going to show you guys putting the crabs into the pot because that's kind of messed up, and I'm not the biggest fan of boiling stuff alive, let alone doing it on camera. So I will talk to you guys in a bit. Alright, y'all, as you can see, we've got our crab cooked up, that nice and beautiful red color. Alright, now this is just personally how I typically crack these up and eat them. I also have some saltines. Normally have butter. I didn't feel like breaking the butter out right now, so basically what I do is I like to crack the claws off first. Break that off, that front claw. Just kind of make things into like little workable areas. So then what you're going to do, you're going to take the back side of your butter knife. You're going to crack it apart. And you're not going to want to like rip it. You kind of just want to work the meat out of the shell. Alright, you don't want to beat it. You don't want to do anything like that. Alright? So, here is some beautiful meat. I'm going to take some saltines. That is perfect. And some saltines. Alright. I love shellfish. I'm sorry. I love fish in general. But I gotta be honest, guys. I think crab is my favorite out of all of the seafood. So, let me get something to drink real quick. Alright. So, basically, just do the same thing with the other claw. Now, here is the next part. As you can tell, it's a male. We've talked about this a few times. If it's a female, it's going to have a wide apron. If it's a male, it's going to have this shorter apron. So, what I like to do is pull that off, grab on the edge here, and just lift off the head. You got some guts that are coming in, that are in here. Trying not to be too graphic for YouTube. Alright, then you have the gills. You're going to take the gills off. You're going to take what was his face. Again, trying not to be too graphic for YouTube, but this is a part of life. You know, this crab is not going to waste. I am not going to let the sacrifice that this crab made go to waste. Alright? And you're just gonna crack it in half. So, shake all the remaining guts out. There you go. Alright. And then, what I like to do is I like to take that back swimmerette off. Take my knife, if I can, just kind of feel where the meat is. You know, it's kind of like a dance. You know, you're working the crab meat out of the shell. Another nice big thing of crab meat. Another saltine. I gotta be honest, guys. I love some crab meat. I think out of the two that we have, stone crab and blue crab. I prefer I prefer stone crab claws. I feel like even though you're only eating the claw of the stone crab compared to what would be the entire blue crab, I feel like I'm still getting more meat from the stone crab claw, just the claw alone. So, ooh, that's still warm in there. All right, no. I have a couple more crabs to eat. Yeah, I'm gonna enjoy that. I'm gonna go grab a napkin. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this video, guys. I hope you made it this far in this video. If you did, I appreciate it. But this has been a comprehensive list of how to catch crabs in Florida, what you need, the regulations, how to cook them. So with that being said, always remember, if you ain't wet, you ain't fishing in Florida. See you guys. Best bait that I found. It's crab bait. That's headless shrimp. Let's try this again. Oh man, guys, I got my hat wet.